This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by Goldmore. Is your business struggling to retain employees? Stop burning out your workers, do more with less, and start increasing your profits. Become a licensed Goldmore member today and grow your profits using their proprietary system in your restoration business. Goldmore is so confident they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee on the license fee if you are not completely satisfied with the results. Visit goldmoreusa.com to discover how you can truly benefit by using Goldmore, the easiest, most profitable mold removal system, period. Hey there, restorers. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today, I am joined by a couple of gentlemen who are with a company that's somewhat new to the industry, and I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about them in the coming months and years. I am joined by Doug Shadler and Brandon Donatelli from Homey. So I'm just going to toss it right over to them and have them kind of introduce themselves, share their background in construction and the industry and stuff like that. So Doug, I'm going to toss it over to you since you're the co-founder and CEO. Let's start with you and have you kind of share your background a little bit.
Great. Thanks for that. I know. Glad to be here and great work on pronunciation of my last name. Sometimes it's tough. Homey, very excited to be here with you today. 5-year-old company, software solution. We've been in the insurance space for a couple of years now. We've got a blue chip investor base. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but excited to talk to you today and go through what we offer both on the carrier side, value proposition there, as well to our great and growing service pro network.
Perfect. Brandon.
Yeah, 20 plus years in the industry, as you know, and I think many of your readers or followers or all of the above are, familiar with. So we go back a long way, Michelle. Yep. But I've been here about 2 months now at Homey and Chief Revenue Officer, and looking to do a number of pretty impressive new releases and developments with our solution that I think is going to really disrupt the industry and be a big topic, something exciting to talk about as we discuss further into the interview here.
Okay, so I know that Homey was somewhat founded in the idea that there were some things that maybe needed to change in the home services space, and it can be a little rough getting a home service provider when you need something fixed in your home, right? So Doug, share a little bit about your story and what kind of initially got your juices rolling, and maybe there's something here that should change.
Sure. I was on a trip to San Francisco. I was at a conference, and I just finished speaking, and I was getting a well-deserved steak dinner off of a Union Square there, and Homey's based in Tampa. So we have my wife. We have 3 kids and 3 dogs, and she texted me on a Friday afternoon when I was about to eat this dinner that the air conditioner was out. And if anybody's been to Tampa in the summer, it's very humid and very hot. So I knew I had a problem on my hands, but I said, listen, I sent her a text. I just ordered some dinner. Can this wait till I'm done? And at that point, I got a lot of mean emojis that knew I had a problem, wanted to take care of the situation. So had the bartender cover my dinner, went on the sidewalk in San Francisco for about 30, 45 minutes, trying to find an AC technician to get my house cooled down. Best I could do was find someone to come out the next morning, which I was quite pleased with. I think I had to Venmo them $500 to tell me that they were going to show up. Never met them before. They were just going on their word. And I called my wife back and said, hey, great news. Tomorrow, someone will be there in the morning. And she wasn't too pleased to hear that because she said something like, enjoy your nice hotel room. It's going to be nicely air conditioned. The house won't be. And we don't know if we're going to sleep tonight. So that was sort of my original issue that I was presented with. And as I was eating my cold dinner that night, I said, hey, there's got to be a better way to find and dispatch a highly curated network of service technicians remotely via mobile in particular. So that sort of got me looking into the home services space, and I found it to be, just not what I would call efficient. So very low pricing transparency, and just very not a lot of consumer interaction with the pro prior to being able to do a dispatch. Yep. So that got me excited, and resigned from my post, my previous position, started up Homey with my co-founder, Dave Theus, who had a similar issue at his house, plumbing in his case. And that was about 5+ years ago. And we've now got, the core to our company is highly curated, high performing service pro network. And we don't do any direct to consumer marketing. All of our work is delivering a great customer experience for the carriers. That's really how we position the company.
Okay. Brandon, in your experience from the companies you've worked with and knowing a lot of restorers, what are some of the pain points you've been seeing in the industry that could change a little bit to help make the process smoother between the customer and the provider?
Yeah, I mean, technology is playing a massive role in all of our lives today, especially post-COVID. So we're seeing a great opportunity to really put in the palm of everybody's hand this phone that we're using to do so many other things, a portal and an experience that just brings us almost this Uber-like experience to home servicing or to home repair, and take it one step further and add it to the insurance industry, which is kind of the story of what happened here at Homey. And there's just a natural connection. We're looking at being able to schedule more quickly, have really good, deep, real-time insights, understanding that, hey, someone actually is en route and coming to my home to make that repair. So it's going to help tremendously in that aspect. And then with the multitude of sort of touch points, analog touch points that maybe a restoration company would use a coordinator to say, hey, we've contacted the insured, we're en route to the loss, we've arrived on site, we've signed a contract, we're beginning repairs. Like all these analog steps now can be truly digitized and automated in a fashion that allows the restorer or the pro in our world, what we like to call them, the ability to kind of just do what they do well and provide high, quality service, get their work done as quickly as possible, and leave the admin to technology.
What level of interaction are you seeing customers interested in? Like, I feel like there's probably kind of a balance, right? Like people don't want to be too bombarded by information, but they also kind of want to know what's going on. Like how much in-person interaction are you finding that people want now? COVID maybe changed that a little bit, but based on your research and your experience so far, what are customers looking for in an experience like this?
Yeah, so we've worked with carriers, including Liberty Mutual and a lot of other larger carriers, really building out what we consider to be a best-in-class product and a best-in-class customer experience during a time of a claim. So for us, we always want to meet the customer where they want to be met. If they're comfortable using a mobile, if they're comfortable dispatching a service pro through mobile, we have that product. We also have browser technology if they want to receive a text and schedule and view service pros that way. Or if they still want to use phones, we do have policyholders in their 80s who just aren't comfortable with technology and want to use a phone. So while it's not the most efficient for us, that's how we want to meet the customer, deliver a great experience for them during a very stressful time. And that's why our NPS scores and customer sat scores are as high as they are. They're in the 70s. Because of that type of mentality when we're interacting with them.
Okay, so explain a little bit about what net promoter scores are. I think some people in the industry know what they are and others don't. So explain a little bit about what that means.
Sure, it's a one every time a customer, and we're really polling them throughout the whole process. So once they receive a claim, middle of a claim, so throughout the whole process, we're gathering data from the customer, which is, are you pleased so far with the experience and the speed and the reduced cycle time you're seeing, and then it results in a final score. Usually from 1 to 10 is the ranking, and then that is taken in aggregate. We do it monthly with the carriers, and it's somewhere between. It can go negative, but you certainly don't want to be negative. But it's 0 to 100 at the top, and ours is currently in the low 70s with carriers, which is very high for the space. And part of that is because of this digitizing of a very analog process, that being a claim, we are highly reducing cycle times. And importantly for the carrier, we're scaling their adjusters. So previously, if a adjuster at a carrier was processing 5 claims a day, with Homey and our digitizing of the process, they're doing 5 times that or 10 times that, depending on the carrier. So there's this multiplier effect with the adjuster because we are handling a lot of that. We're offloading a lot of that process to us. So we're enabling them to be a bit more passive, do their job extremely well, and really focus on those high need cases, not just touching everyone throughout the day. So they're able to focus and they deliver a better experience for the policyholder as well.
So what do you tell contractors who come to you and they're like, are you a TPA? Are you a managed repair network? Explain
we want to turn that on its head, right, Michelle? The industry is largely, TPA models were really focused after health insurance, which means everybody goes to a hospital or a medical center where a bunch of doctors have offices. And it's a very different concept and model than having doctors come to your home, which is kind of what we see in the insurance world. So the industry as a whole has really tried to find ways to bridge the gap between all the success that the auto industry has had with bringing a direct repair network and direct repair solution to, auto repair and auto damage claims, right? In our situation, we're finding ways to bridge that gap with technology, both on the administrative side of claims in-house for carriers, and then out in the field where the boots are on the ground, where the vendors and contractors work and do business, really opening up their capabilities and their schedules to be focused on doing the physical work, right? Not focusing on being administrators or, managing the parts of the process that they just don't do well, right? We want them with tool belts on, in customer homes, getting the work done in a high quality fashion as quickly as possible. A lot of, I think, what Doug just explained to you, I know our industry and restoration folks that I kind of come from would say, hey, that sounds like you're really doing business with carriers. You're just like a TPA or managed repair network. And the reality is, we're solving a similar problem, right? But in reality, we're disrupting the industry and changing the way we do business tremendously by making it really pro-centric, contractor-centric, right? We understand that the health of the contractor being well-fed and having good cash flow is going to make them perform better. We understand that offloading the admin and the parts of the work that they do that they don't do well or don't enjoy doing, or maybe can't afford the cost of doing business because it's expensive to hire somebody to sit in an office all day and just push buttons and do analog activities, right? So we're really trying to work in the industry to build a bridge to really bring the two together to where we can provide a solid solution for the policyholder or property owner. And that's where I think we really are different, in the sense that a direct repair solution is taking technology as the leading purpose or driver of what drives cycle to be better and everyone's experience to function at a higher level. In this way, the contractors and vendors and pros and whatever we want to call them have the ability to just do really good, solid work without headaches and aggravation.
So sorry, go ahead, Doug.
Where we specialize too is low complexity, moderate complexity claims. So that's really a niche. It's a big pain point for the carriers. That's what we want our service pro network to really excel at, and that's what we train them really well to do. And we also don't, we're unique in the space too, in that we don't. This is a premium product we're offering to the carrier. The service pros don't charge membership. We don't charge a membership fee. We don't charge them a per job fee. So they're also receiving a good financial benefit, just because we looked at this differently, because we didn't come originally from the insurance space. So we took from a clean sheet of paper. And now we've got great folks like Brandon on the team, Wes Jones from CoreLogic as well. So we're now really elevating the whole management team to say, listen, we've got this great software product, simplified as well for both the carrier, policyholder, and also the service pro. So that's why we're really excited about this year and beyond.
So what does your ideal contractor look like then? Because you're not doing the big claims. So what does that ideal contractor look like that might be a good fit for Homey?
So, we like single trade or low complex contractors, right? Not necessarily the big full service restoration franchise firm, right? Yep. We want the little guys that are just starting out, that do high quality work. They might not be super sophisticated in terms of being able to handle a whole house fire, but they need the support. They don't necessarily haven't built their business to the level that they have a full office or big staff behind them to support them. But they do quality work, and they're capable of going in and handling things like paint and drywall and low severity, low complex claims, and then get in and out. We want to see work, done in 5 or 10 days, small projects that work really well. So we really feel like we've gone and solved some of the pain points for the, network, or the, restoration, pro network that's out there by coming up with a solution that gives them a low severity, low complex claim capability to really solve a pain point for the industry. And there happens to be a huge volume of claims that fit into this category. But the problem is, I think for a lot of the big restoration franchises, they become so large and they have all these expenses from pollution liability and Bailey's coverage. And to be a full service restoration company, pay all your overhead, pay for that admin staff inside, pay fees then to be a part of a network or a managed repair solution or a TPA, and then pay a portion of the job profits. There's too many hands in the bucket. It's not something they can effectively do well. So we're creating our solution to speak specifically to those pain points, to make it attractive so that we can then attract more of the labor pool over to our solution to go out and then serve carriers with those needs in those low complex claim categories. In addition to that, we're helping, the pain point of a carrier who's maybe putting a $5,000 to $10,000 claim through a process that's more suitable for a $50,000 or $100,000 claim. We're really working tirelessly and building trust and credibility with carriers to say, a $5,000 claim really shouldn't require a 10-page estimate. It shouldn't require extensive back and forth review and negotiation. Let's take care of the policyholder, the property owner, get the claim, the work in the field completed, get them closed and get them out the door. And our commitment to our pros is then to pay them in 3 to 5 days of satisfactory, completing a job. So couple that with no fees, low cost of doing business to no cost, getting paid lightning fast. And I think we've got an incredible network for pros that, want to get into the repair side of the business, not just the mitigation.
Doug, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that was extremely well said.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
So how are you? Nice, guys. Cute. Okay.
We get along here too. We have a ton of fun and we like to laugh and joke. And we keep it real.
I can't tell. And Brandon, you're never smiling. So clearly very unhappy. Okay. So how are you determining the scope of work? How are you able to pay your contractors so quickly and know, the scope, the damage, what the job costs, all of that so quickly?
So, we're looking to get a 24-hour turnaround from our notification and an inspection on site. We send the contractor out. We welcome the use of spatial data tools like Matterport or other capture capabilities like Hover and tools of that nature. But we assist with the estimating process. And really one of the things that we want to do when I think of the people that you talk to in the world that don't love TPAs, when I think of like Mark Springer and Tom Giesler and those guys, and I don't want to say don't like, but they really are critical of, the impact that, TPAs have on, our constituent restoration partners out there, right? Mm-hmm. And in this situation, we've developed a third option that doesn't say you have to be a Verisk or CoreLogic solution necessarily, but for low complex claims, we can come up with a really simplified estimating process that gives basic time and material details, still providing good documentation and imagery, videos, photos, whatever your choice of documentation capture methodology is, we'll accept it. And the trust and credibility that we're building with our carrier partners is to really be able to fast track and push estimate reviews through quickly. In some scenarios, we have carriers that say, hey, if it's $5,000 or less, get the repair done. We trust you. Get us good documentation and detail so we know what we're insuring and we can properly indemnify the insured. We can properly warranty because we know exactly what we repaired and fixed, but let's get the repairs done as quickly as possible. And we're seeing projects that are under $10,000 getting processed in 14 days or less, 2 weeks roughly. And it's massive in the industry where it's, in many cases taking 30 to 45 days to deal with that loss. So you couple that with all those other constraining factors of, cutting into your profits, paying, exorbitant fees, jobs taking 45 days that should take 5 to 10 days. And now you're getting paid in 3 to 5 days upon completion. And it's a highly compelling story, I think, that we have here, why you'd want to be a pro here for us.
Are your pros ranked? Like if there are several in the same area, are they ranked? Like how do you figure out who gets what call?
So it's really, so we have an algorithm that routes a certain job to pre-selected, because we're always curating and making sure the network has enough capacity in given areas, because we really do with carriers, we do state by state rollouts. So we want to make sure we have enough. We get the PIF count, overlay that with the Service Pro networks. And really, when we push jobs into a given metro or a state, it's really about speed. It's about that customer experience. So the first one that has capacity to pick it up is going to get that job, because this is a highly selective network, pro network. Everybody performs at a very high level. We do have some that obviously we're always monitoring it that drop off, and we do that very carefully. But obviously some pros just don't make the cut over time. But that, as long as you maintain that high integrity of the network, everyone on our pro network is very highly trained and can do great work. So it's really about speed and efficiency for us.
What are the requirements of your pros that are on your network?
So we have an onboarding process, try to keep that as simple as possible, but just based on some of the requirements from the carriers: background check, license verification, all of the standard sort of compliance issues that you would imagine.
Yep.
We do that, try to keep it as painless as possible. It's a one-time sort of check on those items. Usually we can get through it in a couple of hours, I believe, for a whole company. And then at that point, it's just training on our product, which also we do very efficiently. We have a great training team now. And really then it's just monitoring and working with them. We have account managers who really manage a lot of those relationships, and are general contractors themselves. So they come from that industry and know what's going to work for different Service Pro networks. So we're very good to work with. Like Fran said, we pay very quickly. We're giving jobs and not leads as well. So it's always, high quality work that we're pushing through. And if there's ever any questions, we're always there for that restoration firm or service firm as they need additional help or training.
What does the process look like on the property owner side when they have a repair that's needed?
So it depends how they're interacting. If they select the mobile, they are actually pushing that job out to the network themselves. If it is, depending on the carrier and the pre-approvals, if we have approvals up to a certain dollar amount that don't have to go back and forth with the adjuster, that's an even more streamlined process where we're getting that estimate, turning it around quickly and starting that work very quickly, which is an unbelievable customer experience. So we're really changing a lot of the process flows here for the better. And it always starts with the customer. The customer is happy, the carriers love it. And that's when that point of retention usually occurs, or I should say churn, at that point of a claim. If they have a bad experience, that's when they start looking around. So we minimize that for the carrier. And in addition to that, we're scaling that adjuster back in the home office so they can do more and apply their attention to some of those larger claims that may have a lot of need of what they do, rather than just take calls and do these analog items on 50 claims that we can handle with our software.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm curious where you two see InsurTech going now, this year, over the next 5 years. I know that there's been a lot of changes in the industry, some COVID related, some just times because technology goes so fast. But where do you see InsurTech going?
Michelle, sitting today where we're at, we look around the industry and we see all these solutions floating around, and they're like nuts and bolts, right? So I think the future of insurance right now is finding companies that are creatively being really sort of open platforms and really integratable, and utilizing APIs and creating opportunities to share information and data that's appropriate to share. We don't want to get into the data story around data and privacy and all of that stuff. It's a thing, but it's not as big of a thing, I think, as everyone makes it. There's measures in place to protect that and to manage that in, I think, safe ways. So I think for the sake of the industry, really being able to pull all that together and have meaningful partnerships and integrations where we can sort of be, the hub for all these different technology solutions. That's what I think the future really looks like. In addition to that, we're turning the corner on technology in the sense that it's really becoming user-friendly and intuitive in a way that In the old days, I think technology might have been intimidating to some people, and especially now with some of the challenges that we have in the labor market, technology is finally something that I think, and to put it in appropriate terms, I want to say the aging workforce that might have been sort of pushed out of any industry with technology because maybe they didn't have the background and upbringing with technology like maybe the millennial group has. We're now seeing technology function in a way that we're opening the door back up to a part of the labor market that really can help solve some of the labor shortages and issues that we have. And I think that's pretty exciting for us to be able to do some pretty technologically advanced processing and create some really truly digital workflows that are super simple for anyone and everyone to be able to utilize. And I think that's an exciting part of what technology looks like in the future, especially in our industry.
Yeah, I think the technology carriers, we're hearing this more in the last 6 months, is how can we make that customer experience better? Technology is a part of it, but it's also, what in our business, which is that digitizing that claim, there's a network of great service pros behind it. So it's a lot of pieces there driven by software. But at the end of the day, it's about the customer and that experience and what can we do to make that better? So I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, and I think it's going to be for carriers efficiency of rather than having 20 different tools, to Brandon's point, we want to be that hub. So we can select tools, visualization tools in our product, have it enhance that customer experience. And that's really our positioning is it really that one-stop shop.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Anything else that either of you want to add before we wrap it up? We've covered quite a bit.
No, I think this has been great. I want to thank you for having us on. Brandon, anything else?
Yeah, Michelle, thank you. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and share some information about Homey. I can only say, keep an eye out. We've got some, a little bit of a facelift coming soon. We've got new messaging, new content and copy. And, if you or your listeners don't know who we are, they will soon. And we look forward to, a warm welcome in the industry. I think we have something pretty cool to offer.
I imagine people will be seeing you around. So thank you very much, both of you, for your time. And for those who are listening, this is actually Doug and Brandon's second time doing this with me, thanks to a tech issue the last time around. So gentlemen, thank you for doing it twice.
We'll do it a third time if we need to.
I'm going to hope not for all of us. Anyway.
You have the next round of refreshments at the next conference we see you at.
I do. I'm totally game for it. Sounds awesome.
For more Restoration Today, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, or find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.